Erin, how are you?
I'm well, thanks, and you?
Nice talking to you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing it in the moment you're preparing already for the Grand Prix. So we'll try and be efficient.
No worries.
Perfect. How have you been doing?
Yeah, really good, thanks.
I wanted to talk to you. Look, you're in the Moto3 category. It's a crazy category from what we can see, especially, I mean, your vintage point of view, I guess it's a little bit even more crazier. But congratulations, by the way, for every and each race. I mean, what you guys do is completely amazing. So first of all, our hats off for everything that you do. It looks complex even from the TV set. So I don't know how you do it, but thanks. Thanks for the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Moto3 it can get tight sometimes and a little bit hair-raising, but it's part of the sport, and I really love it.
Perfect. Well, your smile, I think, speaks louder than words, basically. Yeah, well, what I wanted to talk to you about is a little bit about the racing specifically, since obviously we cover, as a television, we cover Moto2, MotoGP, Moto3, we cover Red Bull Rookies Cup, we cover as much races as we can, Moto E also, and obviously we're trying to find, the differences are obvious, but what I wanted to talk to you specifically about is how do you prepare during the weekend, because we hear a lot of stuff from MotoGP trickling down from Moto2, but the focus is also new riders in Moto3. I mean, you have 3 practices, you have 1 qualifying, sometimes 2 qualifying sessions, and warm-up and races. But what I would like to understand, and our viewers, if you can share that with us, is how do you progress during the weekend? I mean, what is the difference between free practice 1 and 3? I mean, what do you do with the bike? How do you set it up? Do you look for basic setup during the morning? I mean, you get the green track. So so all of those questions I would like to cover if you're okay with that.
100%.
Perfect. So basically, you guys look like you have the worst possible conditions when you come to the track. I mean, it's a green race track, and is the first practice more difficult due to that? And what can you do during those first 40 minutes?
Yeah, so basically, we normally the first people out on track on a Friday morning, and it all depends on the track and what's been going on at the track before the race weekend. So if there's been some other activity at the track, normally it's quite all right. So you can roll out and be quite fast straight away, but sometimes it can be a little bit greasy. So obviously we have a tire allocation throughout the weekend. So normally, because you're unsure of how the track's going to be on the Friday morning, you normally start off with the tires that you most likely not going to use or not going to race on. So you'll roll out with let's say, for instance, like a hard rear and a soft front tire, because we know we're more than likely not going to race it. And we'll go out, see what the track conditions look like. And normally, if the track conditions are quite good at the end of the practice, we normally go on to a more suited set of tires and try to feel what the bike's doing. You know, we start with our base setting that we've had from the previous Grand Prix or whatever. So we'll roll out and try and put in a good lap straight away in FP1 if we can. But that's it. So you basically start off the weekend like that, and then just slowly progress. I mean, you've got to work in FP2 to see which tire you want to do the race on, and see how your bike is over the race distance once the tires get used in that. And you at the same time, you also need to put in a fast lap at the end of FP2, because you always want to try and go straight to Q2 and not to Q1.
Yeah, and not to do it in the free practice 3, possibly. I mean, it looks hair-raising sometimes.
Yeah, it's always nice to end Friday really strong, because, if you end Friday really strong, it's just less pressure for Saturday morning to put in a fast lap. So if you can do a really good lap on Friday, then sometimes you'll go straight through to Q2 regardless what happens on Saturday morning. And it also depends where you are in the tracks and stuff. Sometimes it's important to have a really strong FP2, because sometimes those early morning FP3 sessions, the conditions aren't really the best either. So, you got to take all of that stuff into consideration. You got to watch the weather and see what's going to happen, if it's going to rain or anything. And you got to always just go out there, do your best, and at the same time, you've got to try and prepare as best you can for the race on Sunday. Make sure your bike's set up for the race.
Thanks for the explanation, because obviously after you guys come the MotoGP guys, which are always, they look like they're immediately like 110%. Like you look at the times and you're like, okay. But with Moto3, it's gradual, more gradual, which sometimes seems less intuitive. Like you would say, well, Moto3 guys are crazy, so they're going to go full speed immediately. But you look at the MotoGP and you're like, okay, so it looks like not a different game, but like the guys from MotoGP, they're like, poof, full gas, and that's it. So that's why I wanted to understand. But it never crossed my mind that the tire allocation can be actually so crucial with the time lapse that you're doing. Thanks.
100%.
Thank you so much. I wanted to also ask you regarding the strategy. There's been some talk after the race in Mugello regarding the tires also, and I wanted to get your opinion about that. Can you prepare the strategy for Moto3 race? And second of all, there is not proposition, but a theory that if you guys would have less good tires that might make you manage them during the race, it could change the complexion of the game and the race. What do you think about that? Or is this like it is good? Wait for the, I guess, last 2 laps and that's it.
Obviously regarding the tires, we have the hard and the soft options in the rear and the soft and the medium in the front.
Yeah.
I think 90% of the riders use the medium in the races in the front, and in the rears, it's your choice. I mean, it's what you feel best on. I mean, some tracks are quite a bit more aggressive on the tires, so if you do choose a soft option, you do have to try and...
Barcelona comes to mind.
Yeah, you need to try and nurse it so that you don't destroy it. But I mean, in the race, it depends on what's going on, because sometimes you want to go out there and try and break away at the beginning and push, but to break away in Moto3 is never easy. So sometimes you have to kind of tone it down a bit and wait for those last laps to try and make a move.
And is there a strategy, or is it just depending on what's going on around you?
It's so difficult to make a strategy in Moto3. Obviously, going into a race, my strategy is always to try and stay amongst that top 3, top 5 positions, because I feel like you're safer there. But in Mugello, I mean, some laps I went from top 3 to outside the top 10 in one straight. So it was... Yeah. It wasn't always easy to plan, but I mean, a place like Barcelona last year, I had a bit of a game plan. Yeah, my plan was to try and lead the last lap, and I managed to get through into first in like the 5th corner, I think, and I managed to keep the lead the whole lap. So, in that scenario, it worked out, but anything could have happened. I could have come into the last lap in 7th, and then my strategies just gun and try and get as far forward as I can. So it's really difficult to plan in Moto3.
Yeah, but from our perspective, we cannot even say your last names. You're entering the first corner and we're like, okay, like we are not going to even try it, but it's fun. You bring a lot of joy. I mean, 1 second was top 10 was 1 second apart. So Mugello, we always expect 15 people, but it's now a bit of a standard. The last person who actually dominated in Catalonia was Alex Marquez in 2014, something like that, which was an anomaly. It was 8 years ago, and it hasn't happened since. But I don't know if even I should ask you about the expectations for Catalonia, but I have to. The results this year, okay, a bit of a tough luck in a couple of those races, but the 5th place in Mugello, it could have been 1st, it could have been 3rd. Are you satisfied? I mean, the points are there. And also regarding Pedro, and the chase for Pedro, I mean, he has 2 wins of basically advantage to everybody. Congratulations for his wins and everything, and also due to the circumstances, it's been like the changing game. Who is behind him? How do you feel about the second and thirds of the year? I mean, are you still going for the championship? Do you need a little bit of good luck now?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, I started off really well in Qatar. I had 2 great races, and then I hit a little streak of bad luck where I got a pit lane start. I got taken out in Jerez, last corner, last lap. I made the mistake in Le Mans of crashing out in the mixed conditions. So yeah, going into Mugello, it was super important to me to get points back on the board. You know, I'd rather take a 5th place than have a 0. Obviously, I would have loved the podium and I want to win, but yeah, that race was good because the 5th just got me some points back, and you know, obviously that's so tight from 2nd to like 10th, 11th place right now. So my main goal of right now is just to keep getting these top 5s and podiums and when I can, and slowly gain my way back into the chase of Pedro. I mean, he's had a great streak of races and he's pulled quite a significant lead, but the season is long, you know, and he hasn't had a tough time yet, should I say.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't wish that upon him at all, but you know, anything can happen in racing, and I think if we can just keep on pushing and try and get those top 5s and stay close to the podium, I believe that we can definitely close the gap.
Yeah, but from the 2nd in the championship to the 30th place, the difference between the 2nd and 3rd and the next man is always less than 10 points. It's 2.1 points, 0.8 points is the biggest margin between 2 riders, and it's like you can go from 2nd in the championship to basically 10th in a couple of races, and then the Pedro, which is like okay, he has that big advantage, but it's nice to hear. So basically, no surrender, no retreat. It sounds like that.
Okay. I get to 2nd and just keep chasing him.
Can we even ask you about your plans for the future? I mean, is this the part of the year? And I'm not asking you for any secrets. We're not digging for any special information. But this is, I mean, Barcelona is here. You're going to Sachsenring. You're going to Essen, and then it's summertime. From what we've heard from behind the scenes with Petronas, it's usually half of the season is where you guys go and see, okay, what was the plan? Are there, I don't know even how to ask you and not try to get some information, which I said we don't want, but you know, are you already thinking about Moto2, or are you just focusing on let's finish the job that we have started and then see how it goes? I mean, what can you share with us even?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, already last year I wanted to move up to Moto2. I've been in Moto3 for quite a lot of years now. I feel like I'm quite big for the bike and a little bit overweight. So obviously my main goal was to go to Moto2. So I wanted to start the season off strong as I can. And yeah, I mean, right now nothing's happening, but yeah, like you say, mid-season's coming soon, and I really want to go to Moto2 next year, and I would love to step up with the Petronas team. So yeah, let's see what happens. If I can get some good results, and if the offer comes 100%, I would love to move up to Moto2.
Yeah, do you? I mean, okay. So the situation there is a bit of a complex situation. We're looking who is going where, who is offering what, and but the speed of the game has changed. I mean, you look at Raul, who went from Moto3, guy who won a couple of races at the end of the last season, and then he's immediately in Moto2, and he's winning races and fighting for the championship in Moto2. And it's like the game has the speed of the changes changed, because 10 years ago or 15 years ago, you could have a couple of seasons to get acquainted to the bike, to the category. Now it's like, it's over. Like in 2 years, oh, you didn't do enough. It's like it's done and dusted. Did the pace really change that much? I mean, is the pressure even higher than it was? Like it wasn't high enough.
Yeah, you know, I think obviously every person's different. I think some people adapt to the big bikes super quickly, and they get comfortable really, really fast, and they show it in the results, like Raul. But I think some guys obviously take a bit longer. I think you need at minimum a year in Moto2 to find your feet for any normal person. But obviously I want to rock up and be from the get-go. So, I mean, if the opportunity comes to go to Moto2, I'll train obviously on bigger bikes and try and prepare myself as best I can to arrive and be fast. Because yeah, if you're given the opportunity, you need to grab it with both hands. Because like you said, if you don't perform in the beginning, it's, you know, there's lots of other kids that might. So that would be you.
You know, it's crazy. Like we are talking about Pedro. We were watching Pedro in Red Bull Rookies Cup last year, and it's like everybody's talking about Pedro. I'm like, okay, the game he's already in Moto2 basically, from what we can hear. It's like when, how, why? But you know, we're looking at Remy. I mean, Remy took some time to get acquainted with the Moto2 bike. He's leading the championship, and he had a great race. So we're, you know, comparing notes and looking at different approaches, and now he's going to the big league. So just, you know, look looking at the everything that is going on. But okay, let's stay focused on the Moto3. Obviously, there was even confusion with this interview because we had information. Oh, guys, are you available for Brad at 11:45? We were like, well, sure, obviously. But previously they said, do you want to talk to Derinom? Of course we want to talk to Derinom. And then is it Brad or Derinom? Who is? So the question obviously begs itself. I mean, with Brad, do you even have time to compare notes? I mean, can you give information from his time in Moto3? Does it even help? You know, do you help him? Do you watch his races and say, look, man, I think you could have done this or not? I mean, brother.
Yeah, you know, my brother and I, we're really close. So we live together and we spend a lot of time together. So yeah, obviously he tries to help me as much as he can, and I'll try and help him as much as I can. But you know, it's very difficult. Obviously, he doesn't know what's going on during my day. I don't know what's going on during his day. But if I go to him and ask him something, or he had to ask me something, I'll try and give him my most helpful opinion.
Nice.
But to go back and watch what he did back in 2016, I mean, he had a very dominant year in Moto3. So it's always good to go back and look and like also just speak to him and see what he thought of what his plan was. And, you know, it's helpful for sure. So It's really good to have him in my corner.
Nice. But, you know, a lot of brothers are there. Raul, Adrian, Mark, Alex, you know, Valentino and Luca, you guys, it's like the family business. And we're like, who's the next brothers? The pair of brothers who's coming up. You had Dennis and John and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't want to take your time. Thank you for your time. I mean, we could ask you a million questions, but you know, we know you have a busy weekend, busy schedule, and it's Catalonia. You won, as we said last year. Are the expectations a little bit higher? I mean, you guys need a little bit of good luck. I mean, Petronas as a whole, we were looking like with Franco, with Vale in France, with Jake in the injury, with everything, and with John, and we're like, what is going on? And you are the best performing at the moment for the Petronas team. And are the expectations even higher because you won here last year, or like playing it down?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's a good feeling coming into a race knowing you won your last year. That's for sure. I mean, when I drove into the track today, I remember driving out of here last year with my bottle of champagne and a really big smile. So, yeah, it's really cool to be back here. I wouldn't say the expectations are any higher, but I'm super keen, especially coming off Mugello. I had a good result. So, yeah, I just want to better it here. And I'd really love to be on the podium here. And if I can win again, I mean, that would be awesome.
Perfect. And never change your hairstyle, please. And I'm not fooling around. No, because Remy took a haircut and we were like, man, no, we need the guys with hair before you reach 45 years and you remember it fondly. But thank you so much, and my apologies if we're a little bit off the professional mark with regard to the hair, but you know, it's nice to see people you know, having their own style. So, and your smile, obviously it's contagious. When we see you smile, we're like, okay, that's nice to see Derinom again here. So,
that's awesome. Thanks,
thank you for your time, and I hope we see you during this year. We hope, you know, with everything. Your guys going to have 20,000 people in the stands, if I hear correctly.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but that would be awesome. It would be so nice to have some spectators back, and that would be cool.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Keep smiling, and we wish you a great race. I'm not going to say hope you win because that would be nice to other people, but hope you have a good result. So,
thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
Stay safe and have a great day. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, cheers, bud.
Bye.
Bye.